Hi there. So please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Bennett.
And what community do you live in,
I
Jeffrey?
live in Westminster.
Westminster. Fantastic. So Jeffrey, describe why you would like to be on the board of directors for the Master HOA.
One, I'm a consensus builder. Two is I've talked to many people who are totally irritated with the current HOA and what went on in the past. And more people want a new change. And I feel I'm very qualified to be on the Master HOA.
Fantastic. What do you see as a priority for the incoming board?
The biggest priority I see is unification and consensus building and getting the sub-HOAs and the Master HOA people and all the residents on the same playing field. Because half the time the left hand does not know what the right hand's doing.
Great. So describe your skills or experiences that would be benefit to the overall success of the Master Association.
In 1980, I started a company called Nature's Recipe Pet Foods. I invented lamb and rice and all the specialty diets you see on your dogs that you're paying $100 a bag for now, sorry. I was elected to the Corona City Council in 1992, served 3 terms as mayor to 2004. I was appointed by then Governor Peter Wilson, the state of California, to the Juvenile Justice Commission. I received from Inc., Merrill Lynch, and Ernst & Young the Entrepreneur of the Year award twice. And I ran a $1.5 billion division of the H.J. Heinz Company.
Wow, that's a lot of experience for sure. What is your long-term and short-term vision for the Master Association?
The short-term vision, again, is getting consensus and trying to get the sub-HOAs and the Master HOAs to kind of get a better line of communication. For example, I'm having a big issue right now in my area with the repaving that was done and having to go and deal with another management company and then going to come back and going to have to probably go see Chris and scream and complain because they're not doing anything, and yet nobody's even come out to look at it, and it's been a while. That's the short term. The long term is we got to look at the master build out. It's set up originally for 10,500 homes. I don't think it's all going to ever happen. I think we're probably 6,500. How much is that going to impact the parks and what it needs to finish them and all the other infrastructure and all the other projects that were based then on a 10,500 versus 6,500, say, ultimate build out.
Okay. So you've already explained some of your background in business. Please share with us some strengths and weaknesses related to the board position, especially in regard to leadership.
Having served as a mayor for a city of 150,000 people and having been on the Juvenile Justice Commission of the state of California, it's got 33 million people and has got a multi-billion-dollar budget. Line items, bidding, financing, reading proposals, RFPs, all of that. Vast experience. Plus, in Corona, we had probably at least 24 HOAs. Okay, that came in. The biggest one being the Eagle Glen, which, because it was a single development of itself of 1,580 houses. That's one. So very familiar with HOA, LMDs, both lighting maintenance district, landscape maintenance districts, and all the other stuff, along with the cost factors of running a city. And well, this is a nice budget for our little Providence community. It's not a lot of money in the grand scope of things of what I've had to deal with.
Right. Is there anything additional that you'd like to add as far as strengths and weaknesses? You did speak about financials and architectural. Is there anything additional that you'd like to add on those topics before we move on to social lifestyle?
It's in the agriculture, the architectural, everything all comes under the same thing with the master plan and how you're going to modify, change it at the end of the day. And what you're going to keep, what you're going to pitch out, what the ultimate build-out's going to be, and how the impacts are. It all falls under all 4 of those categories.
And how do you feel about any strengths and weaknesses in regard to the social lifestyle culture?
Social lifestyle culture is great as long as people communicate. But the biggest problem I have found from my days when I first moved in and had my RV issues, which is long before dear Chris and you folks, but here we had an RV lot that we paid Lennar to have, and then all of a sudden we come back and the sub-association of Master say we can't have it, it's illegal, it's not in here. I spent 7 months spinning in circles till they finally figured it out.
Okay.
So communication, to make any of these work with the sub-HOAs and master HOAs, is consensus building, patience, and communication. Without that, your HOAs are going to be at war with each other and the residents all the time.
And then with that, describe one aspect of the Master Association's programs that you would like to do differently and why. So-
I would never, ever, ever again allow an HOA to use our dues to fight against us on a project because they lost, decided to go to court and spend almost 6 digits of our dues money, wasting it on a pool that they lied to us about.
Okay, and now in the last minute, do you have anything additional that you would like to add?
Having attended the events and seeing what's gone on in the different parks, especially the new one, Huckleberry, and driving the community now and meeting and talking with more and more people, personally, Huckleberry Park's a disaster compared to what it should be. It should have been between the city and the developer, I get that, but this HOA and the residents should have had some input, and we should have taken Councilman Ross and given him a very formidable education before he leaves office, because not having some of the things that are needed up there, and there's like zip landscaping, no fencing, wrong kind of lighting. I mean, we're gonna end up spending $20,000, $30,000 to change those light bulbs when it should have been put in from day one. So again, it's planning, not just for the short term, but the long term, but planning that makes sense and that the residents understand. Yesterday at Huckleberry, at the Harvest, I was amazed at what people had to say about the park, okay? They were not happy at all. That was number one. Plus the 7.5 acres, it's still ready.
Ran out.
We're out of time.
Well, thank you very much.